Anyway, so we pull up into the temple district, and you guys get off obviously, and then his estate, Armando Cull's estate, is this little grayish house over here, on the north, to the north of that big temple.
Mhm.
And so you're walking down that alley more or less. So the docks are like right here, and then you kind of go down that road and then take a left and go down that other road towards the estate. And so you see the grand temple of the great god, and this is like one of the wonders of the region. Like, this is one of the most imposing. It's except for the palace, which is direct, which you can, which is actually a very, very interesting little juxtaposition here, because you're walking up to this grand temple, and it's a beautiful, beautiful structure. And it was actually built before the palace was, but then you kind of like, you look just to like the left of it, and on this hill, which is in a much more imposing sort of way, this grandiose palace that is like 3 times the size of the temple is like towering over the rest of the city. And that's a very poignant statement, given the given the political and religious kind of nature of this kingdom, that the temple of God is this beautiful structure, but it's nowhere near as big as the guy who's running the church, his house is.
Mhm.
So so yeah, you walk up to the estate, and uh, a servant, much like the one that we saw earlier, uh, lets you in, because he knows why you're here, and you're kind of ushered into this dining hall. Well, what are you guys wearing now? Have you changed into more like formal vestments?
Yeah, I mean, whatever is appropriate, I guess,
Yeah.
at the
So
time.
you just wear like
Yeah,
a doublet or whatever. Sure.
Sergio would, yeah, keep it as simple as possible, but still fit for the occasion.
Right.
So
Would you wear like clerical clothing?
probably,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I figured. Okay, yeah. So you're led into this room and given chairs, and the bishop isn't here yet, but you guys are ushered to your seats, and it's only like maybe 20 seconds or so before Armando Cole walks into the room, um, and he's this heavy set sort of man. He has very like, it seems like his face is like very, very petite, almost like the bone structure. So he has kind of like a smallish sort of face, but like he's just a very like rotund sort of man, and not necessarily in like a grossly obese sort of way, but in like, if it wasn't for the kind of sneer that he had instead of a smile, you could almost take him for like a Santa Claus sort of guy. Like, if he had a jolly smile on his face and was walking out right now, then you would totally get like a Santa Claus vibe off of him. But like, as it stands, he has this little like kind of smirk sneer on his face, and he kind of walks in, and his paunch just kind of jiggles a little bit. He's wearing the normal like clerical vestments of a bishop, so he has like these deep blue robes, all decked out in like these little these like sashes, and his head is kind of adorned with some of the tattoos that normally the clerics get. It seems obvious that he was a holy knight at one point, so he has some like the ring of the holy knight tattoos, but his hair is kind of grown over it. And so I think he was probably a holy knight when you left, Sergio. But he was never really one that was like super military and athletic or anything like that. He was more on the law side of it, more than anything. And so yeah, he walks in and has this little sneer on his face. He's like, welcome, Sergio, Theo, and like, Theo, you've never seen this guy before. Like, you may know about him, but it's definitely a weird thing that he knows you. But he calls you by your name, and acts like he knows you. And then he kind of like sits down and looks across the table at you. So it's like this, say maybe 6-person table, but there's only like, you have, I don't know where you guys sit exactly, but like, or I guess they usher you to two of the tables right next to like the head. So your guys are sitting across from each other, and so he sits right there on like the head of the table. And he looks at you, and he kind of just like expectantly like waiting for your greeting back, kind of a thing.
Yes. Hello, Bishop. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
I don't know.
some more formal variation of that.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably comment on how he's a bishop now and not a holy knight. Last I saw you, you were on the battlefields.
I was never really on the battlefields. You know that as well as anyone. Yes, the life of a holy knight didn't really suit me. I'm much better at telling people what to do than carrying out the orders myself. And then he like looks down at. Is there anything out of place, Theo, with you? Have you tried really hard to like make yourself look presentable, or are you just kind of like threw on the right clothes and then came over?
Yeah, I just threw on the right clothes. I didn't really care.
Yeah, and I think he looks at like you're kind of like, you know, disheveled hair and you know, you maybe have some dirt still on your face because you've been on the road for a long time and you probably aren't super worried about the way you look most of the time. And so he kind of looks at you and maybe gives like a disapproving little frown, like as if he just wants to order his servants to like take you up and give you a bath right now. But then he looks over at Sergio again and is like, so I bet you're wondering why I have. Now I'm falling into the cliche too. I bet you're wondering why I've called you here. But yeah, he basically says that. And he doesn't really give an answer. It's almost like a question.
So he just leaves it hanging. Yeah. A little bit, yeah. I thought we were. You just wanted to catch up, but I see you invited Theo along also, so must have some kind of business with us as far as the Inquisitors go, or the Crow Inquisitors go.
Yeah, and I think he nods. He's like, yes, the Inquisitors, indeed. I guess we can just get right into it then, since you were the person to bring it up. Vada, would you come in here, please? And in walks the Scarlet Inquisitor, which I don't know if you've met this man before, Sergio, but Theo, this is the guy who told you originally of your whole mission. This was the guy who was there when your curse was placed on you.
I was set differently. I had a different pathway than the rest of the guys.
You did, but yeah, this is still the same guy who was there.
Yeah.
So you definitely recognize him. Yeah, you weren't there with those people when they did it, but yeah, this guy was definitely there, and I'll show him this. So this is what he looks like.
That's kind of how I imagined him.
Yeah, he comes in with like, you know, this again, the deep scarlet robes, and in really what the, you know, most Inquisitors do wear red, but it's more of like a deep red than what this guy has, and it's almost become, and I think both of you kind of know this, and at least in passing, both of you know, it's almost like it's not quite a fashion statement, but like a statement of just like a religious political statement that kind of like separates him from the rest of the Inquisitors. Like technically the Inquisitors don't have any sort of formal hierarchy in the same way that the rest of the church does. They're more or less supposed to just follow the orders of the bishops and the rest of the people, you know, in the proper hierarchy.
Like or whatever.
What do you say?
Because they're like tainted or whatever, or like stained.
Right, well, right. So it's like it's an off shade, right, of like the normal Inquisitorio color. So it's everybody else would have like a crimson, and he has this scarlet. And it's always been a little bit of a political statement for him that I'm the best Inquisitor, more or less. But again, like there's no technical hierarchy here. But he you know, comes before you, and he nods like obsequiously, and he says, yes, thank you for introducing me, Armando. I have a thing to discuss with all of you. And he kind of like circles around the table and like he doesn't sit exactly, but he kind of like leans on one of the chairs. And he looks at all of you and he says, I was really the one who called this little meeting of sorts. And I went through my bishop friend here, and you can tell that like that first nod that he gave, the obsequious nod to like Armando, was almost sarcastic, because now he's acting like super informal and like, you know, not treating Armando, you know, the bishop with the proper formality that usually should be observed. He's, you know, calling him by his first name and all that stuff. And so he just, you know, looks over the rest of you and he says, yes, I had Armando call this here meeting because I have a request for both of you. And it's related, but not entirely the same request. Would either of you care to be addressed first? Or should I choose?
I mean,
I'll go first.
Yeah, and he says, good. I was hoping that you would say that. Theo, I wasn't entirely aware of your connection to certain people, certain governmental authorities, until quite recently. It's come under my attention, and he's kind of like doing the villain pacing right now, you know, with his hands behind his back. It's come to my attention that you are the son of a very important nobleman in New Umhati.
I'm afraid he died a long time ago, but yes.
Yes, but my concern here, as you must understand, is that you never told us that.
Didn't seem to be of importance to me.
Didn't seem to be of importance. You don't think that the political clout that we could have gained, we could have had access to, knowing that we had under our thumb...
The memory of my past haunts me. I didn't want to be reminded of what once was.
And he just laughs. He's like, do you think I care about your feelings? You don't understand how this relationship... You don't understand how this relationship works, Theo. You work for me. I own you. You need to tell me things like this. It's come to my attention that my proteges, the twins, you may have met them. They obviously they came and got you from Estel. The other things have been kept from us, Inquisitors, such as the existence of a particular organization known as the Order. And he kind of looks at Sergio. Why wasn't I made aware of this? Or someone, at least.
Honestly, I have just learned of this order myself, and I have been curious to try and figure out what exactly they're composed of, but I haven't gotten much chance to investigate it as of yet.
And I think he nods, like, almost patiently, and you can see on his face that he realizes that he does not have the same authority over you as he has over Theo, and so he kind of just, like, goes back to Theo. And
if he's an Inquisitor himself, isn't he technically under us?
He's not under you specifically, because you're a partner. You're not, like, if you were still he's kind of under you in the sense that, like, you're a more important nobleman than he is, but in the actual church hierarchy, you don't actually own the title of, you know, the high priest anymore.
Yeah, well, doesn't it go standard clergy, then Inquisitors?
It does normally, but partners are kind of outside of the realm of all of that, even in a way that even the Inquisitors aren't. Like, they're technically under the authority of, like, you know, the bishops and the normal, you know, hierarchy or whatever, but again, partners have this kind of infamous reputation among the clergy because they have a little bit more freedom than most clergymen do. So yeah, he does not have the same authority over you, though you technically again still work for him more or less. But that was more or less at the behest of the other bishops and your brother that you were given this assignment in the first place. So it's kind of under their authority that you were sent here. But again, he doesn't want to push that authority that he has over you. So he kind of like directs his anger back at Theo, and he says, "We can let the past be the past, Theo, as long as you share it with me. Because again, especially your relationship to this herald of the cult of dreamers, it's incredibly important. And if you had just told me that before, we would be in a very different situation than we are now. You wouldn't have even been in Estel. You would have been here, solving my problem for me. Diplomatic envoy,
I apologize, but I'm no messenger.
You will deliver any message, any threat, any killing that I order you to. Is that clear?"
Crystal.
He actually... Alright, I'm going to use my... So Sergio would know how the system works, right? Yeah. Is he actually in a position to be this derogatory, or as... Because aren't... I don't know, I guess how does the structure work?
To who? To Theo?
This guy, yeah, Vada. What's he...
Does Vada have the authority to be derogatory towards Theo?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The Crow Inquisitors are the scum of the earth in the church hierarchy. They are disposable agents that are used and then abused and then disposed of.
As far as, but as far as, like, would Theo be required to say this stuff to him? Because he's not personally overseeing this group of Crow Inquisitors, is he?
No, he's not personally overseeing this group of Crow Inquisitors, but Theo worked for him even before this. Like, he was assigned to this group, like, after its creation. Before that, he worked directly for Vada. So,
okay,
yeah. He was mainly referring to back then, why didn't you tell me? So...
Oh, okay.
And maybe Sergio doesn't understand that, right? Like, you can say something if you don't, because you wouldn't know Theo's history really.
Would they have told me, or would they have briefed me on that?
They would maybe very briefly. They would have just said, yeah. No, I really don't think they would. They would have just said, "Hey, group of Crow Inquisitors," and Crow Inquisitors would have told you all you needed to know about how to handle these people. Because you're familiar with that. Yeah. So did you want to say anything, or
me?
Either of you?
He just said that.
Oh, right. You just responded with Crystal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say. I wanted to be like not like really sarcastic, but like kind of like slightly, or like
right.
You don't know if I'm being sarcastic or not. I wanted to be like, "Your wish is my command." I just want to say that where he's kind of like, I don't know if he's being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, he definitely gets that vibe, and he understands what you mean.
Sergio might bring something up about how the past of a Crow Inquisitor shouldn't be used against them, because it should be a rebirth.
Right, because they're exonerated. Yeah.
They're exonerated of all their past affiliations.
Yeah.
Now they're only considered part of the church and no more. So.
And he looks at you, and he realizes that like that's totally true, right? Like that's absolutely the truth. And he just like grits his teeth and kind of like nods. He's like, "Thank you for your wisdom, Sergio. I will refer to you in the future as well if I need any more clarifications of the exact role of Crow Inquisitors in the church hierarchy." And he looks back at Theo.
I just kind of smile.
I am only saying that the spiritual life of those in the church should not be used for such petty political games.
And a partner would say that, wouldn't he? I understand. I understand, Sergio, that you are a model of morality. You really are. And though I do not understand how you've maintained your belief in the innate goodness of people, despite your years as a pardoner, I understand that that is the way you think, and whether or not that is a foreign opinion is not my place to question. And that's totally a dig at, yeah, you might be a heretic, but I'm not gonna say it, kind of thing, because you went off to the south and learned all this other crap.
That's aggressive digs.
But yeah, so you look at like Armando, the bishop. He's just like almost completely out of this conversation at this point. Like he's just kind of like sitting there, like almost fiddling his thumbs. And I think maybe Sergio, you can definitely sense, because you know this man, like he's very uncomfortable being treated like inferior and like inconsequential in this conversation, because again, he likes things very particularly, and he likes to hold on to any power that he has. But it's almost as if he's afraid of Vada. So
Sergio might point out something then to try and bring the bishop into the conversation.
Sure.
As far as like maybe a subtle thing of like, the bishop is your superior, isn't he? So let's see what he has to say about this.
And I think both Vada and the bishop completely ignore that comment. And he just goes right back to talking to Theo. Like Armando maybe like looks up at you and then just looks at Vada and then just like looks down at the table. And Vada just like glances over and then just looks back at Theo like that was a completely irrelevant comment. I'm going to continue.
Great.
So he looks at Theo and he says, "But, again, as Sergio has so aptly demonstrated, I cannot and will not kill you over such a," and he looks at you again, Sergio, "minor infraction." And he looks over at Theo. What I need you to do now, my beloved little gladiator, my beloved little murderer, what I need you to do is to use whatever political clout you may have left, any iota of connection you may have left, to help me deliver a message to your uncle. And he's referring to the king.
The king
of New Amhati, yeah, because Iris is the crown prince.
I'll just kind of nod to him, like, all right, but kind of don't say anything.
Right. Well, that was better than I expected. Good then. Sergio, let's talk.
I insist on dragging me into your political games.
He ignores that. I believe that we may have a shared interest here, as unlikely as it may seem to you. I'm aware that you may have certain considerations as to the doctrine of the church. Am I correct?
Yes, I do have my ideas, but
and I think he almost like
clergymen should.
Yeah, I think
their meditations on the scripture.
Yeah. That was such a good answer. You're saying, yeah, I'm not as rigid and stodgy as you are. That's great. He says, I may be able to help you with your certain ideas, because I may need something in return. I trust you aware of the way that your brother has been handling doctrine and the church in your absence?
Am I aware of that?
Maybe vaguely. I don't. Again, you haven't really had a good sit-down conversation with him yet.
Yeah, really been able to talk to him yet.
I think I just added Vada to my mental hit list. I kind of like secretly you're next.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, he holds the trigger to the curse. So if you try to kill him, then
I'm gonna try and break the curse before it's over.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I'm sure the moment the curse is down, you're gonna kill this guy, yeah.
He's gonna be like, wait, no.
Uh-huh.
I have some idea, but unfortunately my brother's been ignoring me for this, making it hard to visit since I've been in Lucerta, so.
Yes.
I haven't been able to talk with him directly.
He does that to everyone nowadays. He's a recluse, you might say, or a schemer, other parts might say. A dangerous man, I say. And I think it might be time for... and I trust your discretion on this, Sergio. I trust it very much. I have confidence that you would not share this view of mine with members of other quarters, other circles, perhaps.
A pardoner knows how to keep a secret.
Yes, I imagine you would know that, wouldn't you?
I can't. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, can you two keep a secret? And Sergio and I say it at the same time, except he says yes, and I say, because I'm like, no.
Do you actually say that?
No.
Okay,
no.
all right. He says, I think it may be time for a change in authority. Would you have an objection to this?
I mean, yes. You're still my brother, and
Yes, the brother who took your rightful place as the High Priest of Ceran, and hasn't, even in these 3 months that you've returned, hasn't made any inkling into giving that back. I find that concerning, do not you?
I mean, I'm not one to seek power, and
Sergio, do it, man.
To take authority or to lead the church when there was no leader. I was gone for quite a long time, and I understand that. However, it would be nice if he would make some kind of an attempt to explain his situation, or at least meet with me. But so, yes, I do share your concerns. However, what exactly are you suggesting as far as...
I'm suggesting that even though I personally may not agree with all of your personal philosophies, I am willing, able even, to make sure that doctrine changes quite dramatically, or open the doors on any sort of doctrinal change that you might prefer, as long as I can consider you an ally in certain, how should we say it, inquiries into new government. I would very much like to see you, and not your brother, again in charge of this institution of ours.
So, okay, side note, what's the secular government like in Lucerta?
Almost non-existent. Like, it's
basically just the church.
It's a puppet government, basically. Yeah, like it exists, and there's technically another capital, with a king and again a secular government, but like the church has so much authority that it's almost on the verge of becoming a theocracy in its entirety. It is one in practice now, but it could be one in word very shortly if the continuing trend continues. And I think you may have noticed that even more profoundly when you came back, right? Like it was the separation of church and state was a little bit less, or there was a lot more of it when you were high priest, and when you came back, yeah, like your brother has definitely changed a lot of the way the government works. And which definitely seemed subtle over the 20 years that everyone else experienced it, but you coming back after not having experienced it, it was definitely more noticeable to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So you know how I detest politics?
Don't we all? And that's the most ironic statement you've ever heard this guy make, because he that's all he does.
And I also think that the rightful place of the church is not in the secular governance of the people. So, personally, if I were in power, it would be working towards reducing the power of the government, the church and the government, and setting back up the secular society.
Interesting proposal. All right, I'm willing to make negotiations here, Sergio. I'm willing to hear you out. I have concerns though that the people may not be ready for that because of the changes that have happened since you've been gone. The people have almost begun to rely on the church to control things, to make sure things run smoothly, and I feel like a transferal of power to that which is not divinely ordained may be troublesome.
Yes, as with all changes, it would have to be a slow one. So I do get your concerns there.
What sort of government would you propose? And this is probably where Sergio, having been treated to lots of different foreign philosophy, would probably have a strong opinion about this. What government does the monk and the various people who worship him, what kind of government would they want to see in place?
I don't know. What do the Taconi have?
The Taconi have a monarchy. It's definitely a much more secular monarchy. Like they have almost complete separation of church and state. Like, though the monarchy itself is supposedly, not necessarily divinely ordained, but like ordained by fate. Like it's just kind of trusted that the king who's in power is supposed to be in power because that's the way the fates have decided that it should be. But the religion of the country is very hands off. Like it's just a bunch of either it's like separate like monasteries that are like outside of cities and stuff like that and don't really have much contact, or they almost have like sort of a different religion per steward that is worshipped. So they have, like again, like the soldier, the witch and stuff like that. And a lot of those are almost like secular kind of religions, wherein like it's like a routine everyday kind of thing that people just do, like where they make offerings to the warrior or the soldier or the witch or whatever, because that's the thing to do, but it's not really a religious thing exactly. So okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Sergio probably hasn't thought that much about political stuff.
Yeah. So I think like you pause maybe. yeah, you pause maybe, and Vada is like, do you see what I mean? There's no good fix here, Sergio. But if you were in charge of this institution, again, I say, that we do have in place, you could change things if you so desired. You could make things better for the people here.
Whoa. What if Vada was the one who killed my wife? That'd be crazy. Seems like the guy who would do that.
Well, you killed that guy, remember?
I don't know if I killed that guy. I thought I did.
Okay, well, we can change it. Like, it was never really came up, so. It's definitely not Vada, though. He didn't kill you. Like, I think you know who killed your wife. If they're still alive, then you know.
It was someone in the church, though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'd ask him then. What?
For me.
Well then, Vada, what do you propose as far as the governance of our country goes?
I've already proposed it. You at our head, leading the way towards freedom, whatever you would like.
What do you really propose, Vada?
I
just want something.
You're intelligent, Sergio. I do give you that much. But again, you're disconnected from the way things work here in Ceran now. You may have ideas about philosophy and doctrine, but you don't have the pragmatism and the practicality that I do to see what is in front of me and to take action to make it so. I would propose that you would be in charge of the church. And I would be the man that you would go to when things needed fixing. I would freely offer myself to you for this task. And all I would ask of in return is a comfortable life. And
your soul. What? I said your roll 20. I said your hole. I mean, like your pool. Like, you know, I want your pool. Oh, well, you said soul. Why would I say that?
No, he says, is a comfortable life, a position in your new government, and your ear to offer any advice that I feel would be relevant and worthy.
How would he respond?
Yeah.
Well, I am willing. Let me think on this a couple
Of course,
days.
of course. I do not expect to have an answer now. Just a direction. And thinking is a direction.
Theo has me a little concerned as to your character and virtue.
And I think he literally just laughs. He's just like, Sergio, I have the best interests of the country in mind. Your brother is taking it down. It's a sinking ship, and he is the pilot. I am simply asking for change in leadership. I do this to Theo.
Even then, how one treats the least of those under one's care is how should be judged.
Such a philosopher thing to say. Such a monk thing to say. Oh man. Yeah, I think he says,
so
if If virtue on my part is what you require from me in this a deal, this alliance, I am more than willing to offer it. And then he looks at Theo. I apologize, Theo. I was distressed. That is all. You have done good work. You have served the church admirably. Would you require anything from me? And he asks you this to you, Theo. Is there anything that I can do to serve you? You're muted.
Like I said, oh, this turned around. I didn't say that.
So the tides have turned.
Well, let me think. Hold on, let me write some stuff
$1 million,
down.
a sweet
I'm gonna use
ride.
Can I use my aura read to see if he's lying? Is that one of the things?
Oh,
I can do?
absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. His attitude there. All right, I will make an aura reading check.
And I believe the ob is too, because it's the normal thing you usually do.
Does this mean like I get anything I want?
Well, like he's asking you, you can.
Oh, a cheeseburger? No, I'm just kidding. Like, I was
got
thinking,
you.
is the abbess like a prisoner, or does he not know about the abbess?
Wait, you gotta choose. So you succeeded.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I mean he's being very obsequious and I mean fake, more or less. But
No,
like,
I'm
it's
just asking you.
right. I'm telling Sergio what he's reading off of him real quick. I mean, again, but it's not as if like he's gonna turn on this at a moment's notice. Like,
Okay.
you can sense that he's sincere in the fact that he will fake being nice to Theo. If that's what you want. Like, he's not just gonna like kill him when your back is turned or anything. But yeah, I mean, this man. He's not a good man. He's a opportunist. He'll do what he wants to get what he wants. But doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to just betray you for betrayal's sake or be mean for meanness' sake.
Okay, so this offer is sincere.
Yeah, the offer is sincere. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, he's asking Theo what he wants, mainly to, like, ingratiate himself to you, but...
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of sucking up, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what did you respond with, Theo?
I asked you, does he know about Ashia?
Oh, right, yeah, Achia.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows about
it's
her. Before, this is the first time he's heard of the Order. He mentioned that at the beginning, so he didn't know about her before, but he apparently does now. So, whether or not he recognizes her significance.
Did I have to give up my trident at the door?
Did you bring it with you? The assumption when you put the dagger in your boot is you didn't even bring the trident, but...
Trying to think of stuff I could get, just be like...
I mean, you could have brought the trident all the way up to his
I think it'd
estate.
be cool enough. I'm just like, I'll have my trident back, please. And he's just like, and then he like...
Okay, no, yeah, definitely, that's cool. Yeah, so you say that, and he snaps his fingers. A servant comes, he's like, fetch my friend here his trident. I believe he left it at the door. And the servant scurries off, comes back, gives you your trident.
Wait, what? Wait, what? That's it? You just wanted your trident right now?
Yeah, like, I mean, I just don't think I really want.
Okay, so Vada looks back at you, Sergio, who's like, see, that wasn't so hard.
Wait,
He's a simple man with simple tastes.
I was thinking, and also, like, I kind of want to be one of the leaders of the, this excursion, you could say.
Oh, you want to be in charge of the Inquisitors? The Crow Inquisitors?
I just want to lead it because this is like my cousin. I'm like, I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to determine what happens because I'll be dedicated. Like I'll take care of this rebellion. It's not like I'm doing it for like some you said I could have anything I want. I'm like sincere. I just want to be.
Yeah.
Part of it.
He says done. I will inform Dellen myself.
Wait, like leader of the.
I mean,
The
obviously,
Crow Inquisitors, like he's in charge of how they get in charge of they beat the
kinda
Cult
like
of Dreamers.
the person who determines where we go,
Yeah.
basically, how we're gonna battle.
As much
strategy.
leadership ability as, or not leadership ability, authority as Dylan had can be referred to you, but it's not a lot. It's just he's in charge of getting to say what we do.
Enough to lead.
Yeah, but I think he says that. He says done. Like, if you want that, that's fine. But I think I have another offer for you, Theo.
And
I think I might be largely done with the current band of Crow Inquisitors as it stands. I feel like it might be easier if we disband the group not in a sense that I will send you off all to quarters of the country, of course, but I'm not sure that the team of you work exactly the way that I imagined it. And now that I have this offer for Sergio, I can't spare just anyone to look after you bunch. I have an idea, Theo. And if you want to help me rid the city of this cult, then please, I will gladly accept your help. But sending a group of high-strung, very opinionated individuals into a charged situation isn't necessarily the best play here. Especially because I don't feel that the church, as it stands, has our best interests anymore. I feel like I am in a much better position, and Sergio, especially, is in a much better position to feel the pulse of this generation, to feel the pulse of this country at the moment, and decide what it really needs. And
Sergio's just rolling his eyes.
yeah. and he says, and one thing I do think of is maybe the cult could be an ally in this situation and not an enemy. I feel like, and I feel like this could be a very strong vote of confidence for them, coming from the Inquisitor, the Scarlet Inquisitor himself. I think that maybe the church is a little bit too strict in terms of labeling people heretics. I think maybe we could use some new ideas, some new direction. Would you maybe consider going to Iris, your cousin, under a flag of truce, under a diplomatic mission, and maybe try to see if we can ally ourselves with this dreamer?
Ally with the dreamers? I'm sorry, but what I've heard of this cult is this is not some friendly doctrine, which this is the ravings of a madman. This is one man who has set himself up.
The dreamer, so Winter, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that like all this is kind of like crazy. I'm just going along with it. Just
right, yeah.
Like I'm not.
Yeah, Sergio is bringing up the fact that like he doesn't think that's the best idea.
The cult is violent and has no basis in
Sergio,
any philosophy that I know of. It is it is dangerous.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be like. Sergio, he's my cousin. I know him better than anyone.
What are you saying, Thea? You're saying that he wouldn't join the cult of a madman willingly? That he has more sense than that? Maybe there is some clout to this place, to this thing?
I'm saying I'll persuade him.
I do agree with that sentiment, of course, Theo, but I believe that Sergio's qualms were more in the area of doctrinal differences between us and the cult of dreamers, that maybe the dreamers aren't the best ally if we want to have a working, functioning, solid church. Is that your direction, Sergio?
Wait, what is he?
behavioral differences. This is a quite violent cult, from what I've heard. There have been some cults I've seen, some heresies which have been legitimate discrepancies, but these have always been marked with an air of peaceability.
Of course.
Where I think the Inquisitors may have gone too far with.
Wait, hold on, Caleb. What is Sergio or Sergio? What are you saying? Like, what do you mean?
This cult is death cult. It's not something that should be negotiated with.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I was gonna say something after that. Like I said, and then I kind of like look at my trident. I'll persuade them.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he like holds up a hand. He's like, "No, hear me out. So, I don't suggest that we bring them into our doctrine and try to, again, ally with them out of any actual sense of bringing them into the church. They're a tool like any other, and I feel like instead of just wiping them out as the Church of Ceran may want, go right now. As much as like the church wants, I feel like it's completely plausible to use the cult for our own ends, like a Crow Inquisitor, perhaps. Get them to bring the church to its knees, so that we can keep it on its knees in a kneel of reverence.
You kind of cut out in that last part.
So we can bring them to their knees with the cults, and then keep them there in a kneeling posture of reverence for our great God. Dispose of the cults, put you as the leader of the new church, and go forward in a new direction. Both problems solved.
I mean, no. Well, how do I word this? Sergio objects greatly.
Oh, I know he would. Yeah.
Yes, because of the
inherent immorality of everything that he just said.
This is a violent cult, though, Vada. So many innocents would die. This is not the way to go about reform.
Oh.
I'm all for reform here in the church, but it must be done peacefully.
I see. Well, if this is the way that you feel it should be done, that is the way it should be done. What do you suggest proceeding forward?
Well, first I would like to have a conversation with my brother. Has he responded to any of my inquiries? Okay. So yeah, that would be step one.
I leave you to it. Just be aware that the man has become poison.
Barring that, I would like to reacquaint myself with the higher ups in the church and my old friends from long ago. At least to find out who is entrenched in the old ways of the church, who would be more willing to help us reform.
I was afraid that you would say that.
Is it plugged into a computer?
I don't think that you should trust them, Sergio. They're snakes. And I freely admit that I, too, am a snake. But my fangs are not pointed at you. And it would maybe be wise of you to... And he just leaves the sentence hanging. You're really quiet, but...
Yeah, really quiet. I barely heard you.
You should be able to go find like the devices on your computer and pop up the mic volume.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, except he didn't have the headphones when I said that. You should be able to go on the in the devices on your computer and pop up the volume that way. Find the recording devices. Did you have any other thing you wanted to say, Sergio?
Oh, yeah, no. I was trying to think of a comeback. Yeah, okay. So he just nods solemnly. Well, thank you for having us here then, Vada. And
My pleasure.
we will be in contact, I'm sure.
I look forward to your next visit. I, again, apologize for the pretense that I had to meet with you under dangerous times, after all. You can get in touch.
Oh, it's no problem. I did want to meet with my friend, what's the bishop's name?
Armando Cull.
Okay, yeah. Any excuse to meet up with good old Armando.
Yeah, and I think he gives like a little bit of a, like just a weak smile. So he's like, nods. Again, I will contact you through our friend Armando again soon. Or you can do the same to me.
All right. Sounds good.
Before you go then, Theo, what do you think of my offer then?
Well,
Can't really hear you again, Adam.
Yeah, you're really, really quiet.
am I?
Yeah.
Why am I so quiet?
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
Too quiet. I can't figure out how to. It's all the way up.
Now we can hear you.
Well, yeah,
no,
he took it out.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. I said, well, it pleases me, and then I say, there's just one more thing that I want to make sure.
Yes.
Sidestep. It's just like a prisoner, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Pertaining to the order that you so recently discovered, there was a young girl, an abbess, by the name of Asia Truce, I think.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. He nods. He knows who you're talking about.
If I accept this, she goes free. The others, you can do what you wish, but she comes with me.
That is not a large thing to offer. I'm completely okay with that. I will have her sent to you. You're still quartering at the palace, correct?
Yes.
All right. She will be there tomorrow morning, if I can make it happen.
Will do.
And he nods, and then you guys leave.
Oh, wait, right before I walk out, I want to say something. I want to be like,
Sure.
Vada,
Yes.
it is true that the church controls me. But for now. And I walk out.
But for now. Nice. Yeah, so, I mean, we cut scene on that moment. And I think maybe we get like the parting shot, like, you know, you guys leaving, and then the camera pans back over to Vada, and he just has a little smirk on his face. And then, you know, the scene cuts. And I think we can just go ahead, unless you have anything in particular you wanted to do this evening, we can just skip to the next day.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what if, like, I tried to kill Vada in the end, like, in the very, very end, like, I don't know, however it goes out between me and
Right.
Iris, but like
Yeah.
somehow either like I get 10 faith and I'm basically like I could determine whatever I do.
Right.
And like right before I like ascend as a patron saint, like I either I stop Iris or something like that, and then like we're in the middle of like a battle and like Vada's like there or something, and like I'm like right in front of him, and then like all of a sudden something like changes, like I'm overpowering the curse or something, and then I kind of like feel it in me, and like I just feel like overpowered, and I kind of like turn around and like I kind of like stand up with my trident in my hand, and all of a sudden this song plays, like, and like I like turn around, and like it's just like this epic song. I turn around and he's like, no, and he's like the curse isn't working because I like overpowered it, and I'm just slowly walking towards him, and he's like on the ground trying to crawl away, and I'm just like walking. I'm gonna try it, and then I just like
Okay, so my question for you, Theo, is
that would be so epic.
yeah. My question for you, Adam, is if Vada was the one who killed your wife, would that have changed anything that happened in that scene?
No.
Okay.
I would have planned it out strategically.
Do you want to make that the thing then?
I want him to lower his guard, and then at the right moment and be like, I know, and you're about to die in like 5 seconds.
Okay, so did you want it to be where you already know, or?
Well, yeah, if I already knew,
right.
Yeah, I'd just be like,
okay, I'm totally fine with that, because we haven't established that yet. We can make Vada the person that killed your wife. Totally.
I'm gonna make it so it's like, like sweet vengeance.
Oh yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
Right before it all is like either I die or like.
Yeah, so man, that puts a whole new subtext on everything that just happened between you two, like of this, and I don't think Sergio got any of it. Like he had no clue about any of that happening. Cool,
it makes everything that just happened so much cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I think